All right, now we're back, and now that we've taken a look at the change figures line, now we're going to look at our primary weapon and henshin device for the Zenkaigers. So here's the box. Now this comes in two different ways. You can either get these separate, where you get the gun and two of the gears by itself, and then the belt and buckle and the other three gears by themselves, or you get the all-in-one package. That's kind of standard for how Bandai does some of the stuff in Japan. Same thing with the Megazords. You can get the two individual Megazords by themselves, or you could get them all together in one set. I chose to get them all together in one set, so I'll be waiting till April to get, even the first Megazord, which is already out. But anyway, let's take a quick look at this box. We sort of saw it a little bit in the figure review, but there you have the image of the gun itself, image of the buckle, image of the gears, which I love these gears. These gears are cool. We'll touch on that more a little bit. Again, you have Zenkaiger right there, as well as his zany robot pals up there in the front. I guess that says something about don't be under the age of 3. I don't know. Again, I know so very little Japanese, so I have no idea what this is saying. But there's a Zenkaiger logo. That's a Zenkaiger logo. I know that one. And hey, I think that says Bandai. Maybe. So, taking a little bit closer look at it here, you get, again, good image of the gears. Here on the side, you have the instructions for how to put the belt together. If you have some of the Kamen Rider belts, you kind of know how this works. Another good image of Zenkaiger there with the gun. That's the actual show model, I think, there, so you can see that the gun is a lot bigger than the actual toy will be, but that's kind of standard. You got a good image of all of your Zenkaiger's faces, anyway. Well, in their transform modes, because these guys do get different robot heads when they're in their standard robot forms. Everything that's included, back of the box, you get your usual back of the box goodies. It tells you what all it does, which it doesn't do a lot on its own, sort of. But given how many gears I'm expecting us to see, it's going to end up doing a lot. You get some images of the characters from the show doing their thing, how to store the gears, all of this stuff that I can't read. The other side, you have a nice little group shot of your Zenkaigers. And they did this color tint right here again. This sort of gives it an older look, kind of like how they looked more in the 70s, which I dig that. I do dig that. And then on the bottom, you have, once again, you have that tinted image of Zenkaiger, image of everything that comes in the box, yada, yada, yada. We're done with it. All right, so moving right along. Start off with the buckle, belt, and the gears. I've already got the gears inside here, but just a quick turn around. You got your little spacers back here to sort of help keep the belt clipped together. It's 2 pieces, clips back here. You can see it's hollow here. Nothing really major to the buckle, just solid gray plastic, but you do get that nice gold chrome. And I love this because this V is 100% the Go Ranger V, like you would see in the Go Ranger logo, as well as on their actual outfits, because they all had this V on them, which I dig that. I dig that a lot. Anyway, it's got just a little clip right here on the top. You pop it open and boom. Sort of see the inside there. Not a whole lot. It just sort of flops down. And you have space to hold 6 gears. But standard, we get the 5 Ranger gears. Now, again, if you buy these separately, your belt buckle is going to come with your pink, blue, and yellow Ranger, and then your gun is going to come with your white and red. So, taking a look here, and you get the first gear is Zenkaiger, number 45, because he's Ranger gear number 45, and you can see they did this really awesome prismatic on this, and this is not a sticker, this is paint. I know this because I've got a paint chip like right over here on the floor. Yeah, but this is paint. You can see how it's a nice little silhouette image of Zenkaiger on a golden gear plastic, and then on the back you have the Zenkaiger logo done in a gold chrome. Now, this year, the collectible gimmick, of course, is the gears. Every Ranger series is probably going to have more than one gear. Like I know for Zyuranger, which was our Mighty Morphin, not only do we have the gear for Zyuran himself, but we've also seen in the candy toys, I think they've got one that has the Red Ranger like this one. And that kind of seems like it's going to be standard, but there's no chips, there's no battery operated, no lights or nothing in this. So if you want to save money and just get the candy toys, or you get the Gashapon, which may have some rare variants, those are a little bit harder to get here in the States, but they're all going to be the same and they're all going to operate the same. And I really dig what they've done here. So the way these gears work, if you notice, you've got your teeth all around here. And if you look here, you know, all your teeth are the same size. But then if you look here on the other side, you've got another row of teeth and they're not all the same length. Let's see, there is one right here where the screw is that's actually longer. And you'll find that's the same on all of the gears. So if you look here at Zyuran's gear, he doesn't have all of the same length here on the front, and he's got them different lengths on the back in different spacings. So this kind of works like your little pin readers, like if you know anything about like the Ranger keys from Zenkaiger, you know, they just have little posts sticking out of them, and it would press buttons on the inside, and by the button press, it would know, you know, rather what combination of buttons were pressed, it would know which key was in there. So this, instead, it counts the spacing and how many clicks in a rotation of the gear in the gun to determine what gear you've got in there. And that's actually, it's simple, but it's also really inventive. I really like that a lot. So since we've been showing it off, let's take another closer look here. I'm trying to get it good in the light, because if you don't get it good in the light, you're not seeing it on my camera, because I have, you know, not the greatest camera and not the best setup. But there you go. You've got Zyuran's face right there with the number 16, because our first Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was actually the 16th series. And again, you get the Ranger logo on the back. Then moving over here to our Pink Ranger, Majin, as in Magi Ranger or Mystic Force. That was series number 29, so she's got the 29 there. And then back there, same thing. Then Rune, our Operation Overdrive Bokengar, number 30, in the nice chrome blue. Same thing there. And then lastly, but not leastly, Gaon for Gao King, or Wild Force, series number 25, in a nice gold chrome there. Very nice, very nice. And that's all the buckle does. It's just a place to store your gears. So, on to the main event. We have the Gatlinger. Oh, the Japanese and their love of just combining English words together into nonsense words because it does whatever the combination is. So it's gear because it uses gears. It's Gatlinger because it's a Gatling gun, like Gatling, but Gatling because it uses gears. You get it? Oh, and this thing is hilarious. It is ridiculous, and it is fun, and I love it. This is one of my favorite Ranger toys in years. I'm not exaggerating, but it's just because it's so over the top and stupid that I love it. And, you know, again, a lot of this is meant to be sort of retro, kind of how some of the goofier weapons and toys were from the past, right down to having the branding just stickered onto the side, which they kind of don't do anymore, which I love that. You can see it's got sort of a bird head here, which if you've seen the series, you know why the whole bird motif. Because he's got a robot bird sidekick from his parents. Even the bad guy has a robot bird. So you can see you've got a crank here with a spinning wheel that has the chrome Zenkaiger logo again, and that thing really spins. And when you crank the gear, the Gatling gun front rotates. So you see we got a nice little silver there. I do wish they kind of picked out the barrels and, you know, black on the inside, but hey, it you know, it's a toy, so what do you expect? And if you rotate, you can see you've got, again, much like on Zenkaiger's outfit himself, you've got the original 5 Ranger colors: red, pink, blue, green, and yellow. You got clear blue here for the eyes, and then a nice gold here on the beak, clear blue up here. This is where your gears will go. Right down here, you've got the red trigger. You've got this red piece right here, which is your battery cover. It takes 2 AAAs, not included. Then back here, you've got the same sculpted detail, but no paint picked out there. You do have the beak going all the way across those, so that's nice. Got like a little hammer sculpted back here, but it wiggles, but it doesn't do anything. And then you have these 2 little flaps right here. These flaps open up for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe to help it balance, but you kind of don't need it. But if you look right in here, I'll see if I can zoom in and not go stupid. You do have sculpted bullets right in here. So when you open it up, you get to see the bullets, and that's on both sides there. Anyway, let's get down to some sounds, because this thing makes a lot of noises. This thing is very excited. Very excited. That's been kind of the theme lately with Power Ranger toys. They're very excited to see you. So when we turn it on, it's going to scream its name at us, because you may forget what it's called, and they all do that. So the button's right back here. Your speaker's right here on this side, so we'll turn it this way so we can get a nice and loud. I love that. You see its eyes light up here. In my lighting may draw it out. It is a fairly bright light, but it's so bright like it comes through the beak a little bit, and especially right here in the screw hole. So his screw hole lights up. Anyway, you pull the trigger and boom. And that's all it does. It doesn't do any other. You can hold it down, spin the Gatling. It doesn't do anything else on its own until you start using the gears. So when you open this up, you get that sound. So we'll go ahead and be all official and start off with Zenkaiger's gear. So you've just put the gear in here. And if you look, you've got like this piece of plastic coming down here that's rounded. And then down here you have a little groove that matches the inside of the gear, so it holds it in place. So I'll show you this too. You've got 2 buttons right here, one for the top ring and one for the bottom ring. And as the gear turns, it presses these buttons in, a sequence. And that's how it knows what gear it is and what side the gear is on, because it does different things depending on which side you've got it flipped over. So our first side is our henshin sequence. So you turn the crank and you start getting some music. Pull the trigger. And what's funny is Zuran, the red Megazord based guy, when he starts using his gun and the music starts coming out, he's kind of like getting into it and starts dancing. Oh, I love that so much. And if you didn't understand what it said in the beginning, it actually called out his number in Japanese, which again it says 45. So now you're henshined into Zenkaiger. Now in here, you still get the gun, but if you press and hold the trigger, you get this charge up sound. And if you press the trigger again, you now get a bang with explosion. Now if you press and hold the trigger and then start turning the crank, you get that Gatling gun sound for as long as you're turning that crank. But it's a Gatling gun sound being made by somebody's mouth. It's somebody literally going... Oh, that is so ridiculous and funny, and I love it so much. This does this regardless of what side you have the gear on. It's going to do the same attacks every time. But we can do a further thing with it on this side. So if we start turning the crank again, Super Zenkai time. Get a different song. And basically you get their powered up attack, which is pretty cool. Now we open this up, take this out, flip this around, and put it in here this way. Now we get their combination thing. So in the case of Zenkaiger, it will do this. Pull the trigger. Bang Bang and Zenkai Gattai, which means combine. So this is probably what he's going to use when he combines or becomes the pilot, I guess, for the Megazord, which we haven't seen yet. We're only on episode 1. We haven't gotten to our first Megazord yet. So that's kind of cool. And then again, all the other sounds are going to be the same. I don't know. I haven't tried this yet. If he makes a different sound after you've cranked it the first time. So let's see what he does. Oh, yeah. So he gets another finisher attack, which I'm guessing is when they're combined, he does that. All right. So let's go through this real quick. We're not going to go through all of the sounds again, but just so you can see, put this in. So he called out 16, Bon. I'm not sure what that means. So as you heard, he calls out Zenkai Juran, because this is the Red Ranger, or not really the Ranger, but robot. Juran's gear. So again. Super Zenkai time. I dig the music. So there's his power attack. We have seen him use that in the show, but he was in Dino mode when he did it, because he did this first. I like that. So this is what he did when he turned giant on his own in the show. Nice. All right. It kind of sounds like the attack sounds are all of the same, no matter who you have in there. So we'll just go through the henshin sounds for now. It's not just Zenkai Vrun, it's Zenkai Vrun. Zenkai machine. Oh man, can you imagine, when Power Rangers came out, if we had this, every parent in the world would hate Power Rangers worse than they did when it came out. Oh man. Yeah, so it's loud, it's obnoxious, it's annoying, it's fun. It is so much fun. And so far, that's kind of been the feeling of all of these. These have just been fun. More fun than Power Ranger toys out of Japan really have been in a while. That's a good sign. That's a good thing. I do have my thoughts on the show so far, but I'll do that in a separate video sometime very soon because, yeah, I just kind of want to do that on its own. But anyway, these are available at a lot of different retailers right now. Toku Fun's got them, Ami Ami, Mandarake. I did get this at Amazon Japan. I was able to get it in when, it was on a discount, so worked for me. Anyway, I do recommend it. I recommend the show so far, and that's going to be it for me. So until next time, have a good one.